Beautiful Wednesday morning. It's very sunny here. Hopefully it's gonna warm up later on and we can go for a beautiful walk with Roxy, who's just destroying her new toy right there. I only got it for her Saturday and it's like half of it is gone. I tell you, it's not the dog food. What's gonna get you? It's the toys and what they destroyed. Right, today we are going to do a tubular netted bracelet. I'm just gonna pop this on and when I'm gonna show it to you, there's actually so many different colors. I'm gonna show you too. I have put together. So we haven't worked with miracle beads for quite some time, so this is what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to show you how to do it. There is 3 different colors of miracle beads in each kit, and it will make you a couple of bracelets. It will make you probably 3 if you had an extra clasp, and if you need smaller ones, but I always work everything out on sort of a larger larger bracelet because of my chunky wrist as well. So I am gonna turn you down. I'm gonna show you, or shall I pop you over to the website first? I'm gonna show you on the website first and then turn you down and show you the samples, which is Brenda and Alison. I have to say thank you so much for making them up. I couldn't do it without those girls. You know, it's like making a bracelet up, it's a couple of hours, but if you need to make like 7 bracelets up, that's like 14 hours of work. So I couldn't do it without Brenda and Alison and Linda as well, but Linda is in Spain at the moment. So thank you so much for making the samples up. Right, okay, so I'm quickly gonna say hello and then we're gonna go and pop you over to the website and show you all the beautiful colors we have, and we got an offer on there as well today. Good morning Rachel, good morning Lucy, Carol, good morning Debbie, good morning. David said, glorious this morning. Absolutely. I just like, oh, I don't want to do a live. I want to go and walk down in the beach. It's I don't even know what's the low tide today. I have to check it out so we can go down. Good morning, Mina, Camille, good morning. Shirley, Kim, good morning. Sun in Camp Island as well. Sheila, good morning. Janice, good morning. Leslie, oh, bless you. It will be on there. Once we finished, it will be on there. Good morning, Anna, David. Colors are amazing. Thank you. I have went backwards and forwards and I was like sort of playing with it. And actually what I'm going to do today, I want to demo with the blue, but I want to show you how to incorporate other colors into, so you got sort of swap all sorts of colors around. And you can do like, if you have like 2 or 3 kits, you could have like 6 or 9 colors in the bracelet itself, sort of going from one by another, or with 3 colors you can do the spiral around, but I'll show you just in a second. Good morning Neither, good morning Sarah, good morning Annie, Elaine, good morning Kim, good morning from Birmingham. Shirley, 6 a.m. in Florida and fabulous weather. It's fabulous weather here as well today. Hopefully it will stay. I am so ready for the spring. I don't know. Let me know. Just say yes. Just say yes in the comments if you're ready for spring. I'm done with winter. I just want the longer nights. I just want the sunshine. I just want spring. So if you want spring as well, just say yes, it's me in the comments as well. Good morning, Andrea. I hope you are well. Good morning, Roxy. Yeah, Roxy, I'm not sure if you can hear her. She's chewing away on her toy, on her new toy. Bless her, she just there. Leanne is here as well, so she doesn't have to be in her crate. She's free. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Ruth. David is saying yes, she is ready for spring. Lucy saying spring is nearly here. Yes, absolutely. I'll be hoping it's just like, yes, please, spring. Kimberly's saying, good morning, Patricia. Right, okay, so I'm going to pop you over to the website quickly. Like, let me find the button. And there we go. So by now, you know the drill. What you need to do, you're going to go to TotallyBeads.co.uk. You're going to click on either video tutorials here, or you're going to go into categories and pick video tutorials on there. Let me just get rid of this little window. And then you're going to scroll down. Now we've got hundreds of tutorials. Going back, it's gonna be 3 years soon. We've been doing all these lives. So today is the Nina bracelet, which is a tubular netted bracelet. I love netting. Netting is so good. Like it gives you such a beautiful structure, even flat or even in round as well. And you can include larger beads with smaller beads together. It creates that kind of lattice sort of look, and I just really love it. Right, so PDF 199. Then you have got your 7 different colors. I almost said 9. I don't know what's wrong with you this morning. Like I can't count quickly on the computer. You can see your 7 different colors here. So I'm just popping to any color. So buy 2 kits for £25. There is your 20% savings on them, and each kit will come with 3 bags of miracle beads. It will come with size 8 Toho beads, size 11 Toho beads, and 2 magnetic clasps. So it will make you 2 bracelets. However, if you don't fancy a bracelet but you want a necklace, you can just sort of carry the pattern on, and it will give you a necklace size as well. I think as I counted it out, it came to, if you use all your beads up, you're gonna have about 48 centimeters of a necklace, which is quite generous. It's almost 18 inch. So you could do that as well, and save the clasp for another project. Right, okay, let me just get out of this. Yeah, there we go. So mix and match any 2 you buy, you're gonna get the offer on. Right, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna go down on the mat and I'm gonna show you all the beautiful colors. Let me just move them down so they are all in. So this one is the black diamond. So this one is the color of the seed beads. I love this color because it goes with so many different things. It's sort of a mushroomy color seed bead, and I added the gray miracle beads in there, so you get the beautiful stripe going around. The next one is earth. Again, beautiful colors. We got a darker seed bead on there, and you got a gold, a brown and a darker brown miracle bead on that. Next one is the ocean blue, and I'm going to demo with this one because I want to this I love these seed beads, and I love my blues, you know me. I love my blues. So ocean blue, again we got aquas and we got blues in here. Next one is the pretty pink. Lucy, get ready. So we got a darker pink seed beads, and from light to darker pink, and I added like sort of a bit of a plummy color in here as well. I think the camera doesn't quite pick that plummy color up well because the miracle beads are just so shiny. They look like they're battery operated, but they're not. Next one is the purple blue. Now this one, it's mainly purple, and you have got your purple seed beads with a couple of shades of purple miracle beads in there as well. However, what I did, I added a very light blue in there, so sort of just to spice it up. But you could, like if you had the pink and the purple together, you could use that plummy color instead of the blue, and you could use the blue in the pink as well. So they all kind of sort of will go together as well at the same time. Next one is the spring. I call this spring because it's a teal seed bead by choosing like soft gold and green miracle beads as well. So it's kind of like, it is very springy, very sort of fresh looking, and I think we need the spring. Sunset is the next one. Very summery look. Gold seed beads with your gold, orange, and red miracle beads. Right. Okay. So I'm gonna start the demo. I'm gonna start the demo quickly. I'm gonna start with the ocean blue. But what I want to point out, so I'm gonna use the seed beads from the ocean blue, but I'm gonna actually, let's do that. Okay. So what you can do if you got more than one kit, because the offer is buy 2 get 20 for £25, you get 20% off. So what you can do, because if I get this kit and I'm gonna pick up the purple, what I can also do is to start with my blue colors and then go into, so these ones from the purple, so I'm starting with aqua, go into blue, then I can go into purple from the blue as well. And if I wanted, let me just zoom out a tiny bit. If I wanted, I can then go, if I had multiple kits, then you can go into the next color. So from the purple, you could go into the pink. And can you see how lovely ombre effect that would, you know, give you on your bracelets or on your necklaces? Now, one kit makes 2 bracelets. So if you buy, obviously 3 kits would make you 6 bracelets and so on, and you could do all sorts of different color variations there. So I'm going to start with the blue, and I'm going to show you how to do the stitch. Very, very easy. I just really do love, I love netting. It's something about it, just so, I'm zooming back in, something about it. A rainbow bracelet, which I think absolutely you could carry on and you could use so many different colors. Something about the netting that gives you this regular structure is just so beautiful. Right, so I'm going to start with one color, and I'm going to tell you as well how to get the triple color on there. I'm going to treat myself to a new straight needle. It's always good to have a new needle. And we're gonna get started. So, because I'm using blue seed beads, I'm gonna use a blue thread. I equally could use sort of a gray thread as well with this one, but I'm gonna use a blue one. If I can find the beginning of it, must have got this, there we go, too close to the bobbin. So, morning Claire, sunset is lovely too, this is saying. I sort of like, you know, sat there and I always go backwards and forwards with the colors because I think it's so nice when we work with all sorts of colors. We all have our go-to colors, and my ones are definitely blues and purples. But it's so nice to work with all sorts of different colors. And I think the sunset, like goldy colors and oranges, and always just put like a smile on my face. It always reminds me of sunshine. Right, okay, so can use 4mm pearls too. You could use pearls, you could use bicons, you could use any 4mm beads you like. The size 11 seed beads and the size 11 seed bead, size 8 seed beads will give you I guess with the count, what we're going to be doing today is going to give you the right amount for a 4mm bead. You could even experiment and use one pearl, one crystal, and one miracle bead. You could do all sorts of different things, or you can just have a mixture of all beads, sort of in a mixed up manners. Right. So we're going to start by, our base row is going to be, let me just move that over there. So we're going to pick up one size 8 bead, one miracle bead, size 8 bead, miracle bead, size 8 bead, miracle bead, until you have got 3 sets on there. So if you started with a miracle bead, you're going to finish with a size 8. If you started with a size 8, you finish with a miracle. Doesn't really matter at this point what bead you're starting with. I'm going to take all this down and I'm going to come through all of them one more time. Now, I do not like to knot this at this stage because they do have quite a large holes, the miracle beads and the size 8s as well, but we all know the naughty knots can seep into sort of places and block us coming through. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run around one more time. So a third time, I'm just going to run around so I have got a nice and strong base, because this way I can later on continue my bracelet or necklace the other way as well. Especially if you're making necklaces, you will want to use a longer thread. Let me just move the camera over just a tiny bit because my hand is sort of to wander to the left side. It's I always say when I chase the camera with my hands, it never really works out because you always go back to your sort of comfortable position on the table, and then I go off screen and you can't see me, and that's not good. Good morning, Jessica says buenos dias from Argentina. Good morning, Sue. I'm missing our Miss Rainbow to the, oh yeah, Jo, where is Jo? She loves miracle beads. Right, so I got my base circle, which is made up of size 8 and my 4mm miracle beads. So there's 2 steps to this. So in the one step, you're going to be adding the miracle beads after the base, and another step you're going to be adding seed beads. So when my miracle beads at the top, or when I can see my miracle beads at the top, I know that my next step is to add seed beads. So I'm going to pick up 2 size 11, 1 size 8, 2 size 11. And as I'm coming out of this size 8 here at the bottom, I'm going to jump over this miracle bead and go through the one right after it. And there we go. I'm going to wrap my tail end around my finger here. So I got a nice, so that my work doesn't jump all over. And I'm going to repeat this over and over again. Now I choose and indicate the size 8 and the size 11 seed beads are exactly the same color. but you kind of need the size 8. You could use a different color and then it would give you a different sort of look as well, like that you would have like a speckled look on your bracelet or your necklace, on your jewelry. But by using the same color, it just all blends in. And sometimes I like to use things where they blend in, and sometimes I like to use things when they stand out. And with these kits, I choosing them to blend in, so I choosing the same colors. Right, okay, so I'm gonna come in, but I'm adding the very last loop. So I'm adding these 2 seed beads, size 8 2 seed beads, always going through the size 8, and I'm gonna add the very last one. And in the sort of the same stage as I'm adding this last one, I'm gonna go through the size 8 I need to go through. I'm gonna step up as well, because we're gonna have to step up to be able to add our miracle beads next row. So to step up, you wanna come through the first 2 seed beads added, and then the size 8 as well. You want to come out of the size 8 bead, and from here what I'm going to do, so now I can see my seed beads surrounding my miracle beads, so I know it's time to add more miracle beads. So as I'm coming out of the size 8, the tip of my beadwork here, so if this is a triangle, I'm right at the tip, I'm going to pick up a miracle bead and I'm going to jump over to the other tip, which is just here, and go through this size 8, which is on the second loop, and I'm going to pull this up just like that. And I'm going to pick up another miracle bead and jump to the, well, it's not so much of a corner now, but jump to the next size 8 and pull this up. And finally I'm going to add my last miracle bead and come through this one right here, which we were coming at originally before picking up the miracle bead. And I'm going to pull this up nice and tight, and now my miracle beads are at the top. So my next step is to pick up 2 seed beads, 2 size 11s, 1 size 8, 2 size 11s, and add the seed beads sort of hugging my miracle beads going around. And there we go. And again, and I'm just going to repeat these 2 steps over and over again. Now, if you wanted to do the 3 colors at the same time, you need to start with the 3 colors. So at the beginning, how I picked up seed bead miracle, seed bead miracle, seed bead miracle, you would have picked up seed size 8, then miracle color 1, then a size 8, miracle color 2, then another size 8, and miracle color 3. To be able to start the multicolor when the colors kind of spiraling around our netting. And then when you get to this stage, if I got 3 colors in my bracelets, imagine that those are 3 different colors there. If I got 3 different colors, and the way how I remind myself which one to pick up is I'm always picking up. So see, my thread is kind of like sort of underneath, or if I pull this netting up, it will be above that miracle bead. I'm always picking up the miracle bead, which is right under my thread. So if I got 3 colors, this would be color 1, and then as I step along, I would be above just there color number 2, and then color number 3. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add this in, and I'm going to change the color for the next one, so we'll have like that beautiful rainbow effect on this one. So yeah, I can include my colors that way as well. So I'm done with the lighter. Obviously, if you just got one kit, this section is gonna have to be bigger, but I'm gonna include some other colors in. So now I'm ready for my next color, which is this darker turquoise, and then we're gonna go into the blue, and then we're gonna go into the purple ones. So I can see the miracle beads at the top, so I'm picking up 2 size 11, 1 size 8, 2 size 11, and just coming through the next size 8. David is saying, just to confuse you all, I'm making a chunky tubular netted bracelet, but this really easy to pick up. Absolutely. I think sometimes tubular stitches can be a little bit tricky, especially if you're working with different size beads, and like, you know, where you have to go in, and some of them you got like a step up bead, some of them you haven't got a step up bead. But I think with tubular netting, because you kind of like doing the same thing around, and then you kind of just step up and repeat, and there's only really a couple of steps, because you're either adding seed beads or you're adding the miracle beads. So there's only two kind of steps to this, and you're just going to keep on going, very repetitive. I really do love something, I call them sort of a no-brainer stitch, and I got a knot I got a naughty knot on my thread. Call them the no-brainer stitches, because you can just sit there and kind of bead away, and not having to, once you kind of learn the basics and be comfortable with the stitch, you can just sit there and just bead away, and you don't really, it's become like a monotone, but I like, you know, those monotone tasks are really enjoyable, and I find them really relaxing as well. So stitches like this, when you don't have to pay too much attention, you kind of know what you're doing, it's because it's easy but repetitive, are so enjoyable to kind of like sit there and do, and they can be very addictive as well. So I have to warn you, it's like once you start on them, you want to make another and another and another. They are beautiful, but these miracle beads are beautiful beads to use. And miracle beads, sometimes, like, you know, I mix them up with other type of beads, which they just go so well with crystals, they go so well with pearls, because they got that illusion. They also called illusion beads, because they have that illusion that they are battery operated, but they are not, because they got that shine on them, the beautiful sort of like a bead in a bead illusion. So I'm keep going around that. If you got a loose tension, what you can do before you step up, you could run around your beads one more time and then step up. So I'm going to add this, and I'll show you what I just mean. I'm going to add these miracle beads in this row, because in one step you're adding a miracle bead, and the other step you're adding your seed beads. So I got two. So if your tension is a little bit looser, before I would add my seed beads, I would just go through the miracle, I just sew through this row one more time, and that gives you a more of a solid finish if your tension is looser. If your tension is tighter, like I do hold quite a tight tension, so it's enough to go around just once when you're adding them. But there's all sorts of different remedies for everything, I guess. But you could do that, you could go around that miracle bead row one more time just to have a nice and tight tension. And another way to kind of tighten up your tension, which I'm going to show you just now. So I'm adding my last seed bead loop. There we go. So I added the last seed bead loop, and instead of going up in the very first loop, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to go along just one more miracle bead here, then come up, and then I can have a tighter finish that way as well. So by going through a little bit of extra, and we're going to use a little bit more thread, you can have a tighter finish. So if you have got a loose beading, if you're a loose beader, then you can tighten up your jewelry that way as well, just kind of like going through an extra time. So what do we think? Let me know in the chat. What do you think of the stitch? Have you done it before? Do you find it easy? I really do love it. So this is the last one of the darker turquoise, and you kind of can see the color difference, but they only really gonna come up when you see it so much. Oh, Linda is here. Good morning, kitchen everyone. Linda, are you back? Where are you? Where are you watching us from, lovely? Let us know. I was talking to you about earlier. This is our lovely Linda. David is saying, if you mix the beads, would it also make the bracelets, the necklaces go further? Just a thought. Yeah, absolutely. It depends how you mix them, or if you use more of one color in one and less in another. But absolutely, the more beads you have, the further your jewelry and the further your beading is going to go. So I'm introducing the next color. So I only done 3 rows of each miracle bead so far, because I want to get to the next color, which will be after this, to show you how well you can blend the next color in. And I used, I think, apart from one color, or no, I did use that one as well. I think there's, oops, I went to the wrong size 8. There is 21 colors indoors. Is it 22? In the miracle beads, Leanne, can you check it for me, hon? I think I used every single miracle bead in the kits we stock. So I'm introducing the blue. And if you wanted the spiral look, then you would be always using the 3 colors at the same time. But possibly it's easier to start with a pattern like this and then move on to using them at the same time. Sorry?
22?
22, yeah. So I remembered right then. There is one color I didn't use. I don't know which color I didn't use from the 4mm miracle beads in the kits, but I used 21 different colors. So if you buy 2 kits or 3 kits, or even if you buy all 7 kits, you're not going to have 2 of the same color for the miracle beads. They all going to be different, and they are 2 for 25. One kit will make you 2 bracelets. And there we go. Is anybody got any question? Please put a Q in front of your question so I know it's for me and I can answer it for you. Right, I'm gonna keep on going with this. I'm gonna add one more row of these dark blue ones, and then I'm gonna move into adding the purple ones. It's kind of like sort of shaping up already very well. Let me just check back in the chat. The first time I did this, it was at 4mm fire polished. Rachel is saying there's all sorts of different beads you can use. Like all of these techniques, what we're going through, and all of these, you know, different materials, like they can be swapped about. It's same as cooking. Like if you haven't got, I mean, I don't know, there are in cooking personal preferences, but I guess in jewelry making is personal preferences as well, that you would kind of prefer one type of bead over another. But you know, in cooking you can replace, I don't know, chicken with turkey, or you know, shepherd's pie, you go, or cottage pie, and the only kind of difference is if you're using lamb mince or you using beef mince. So it's exactly the same in jewelry making as well. You can chop and change things, and that's sort of the beauty of it. And sometimes if I change it right now and I would using bicones, it would look different as well. So they're so vast what you can do with it. There's so many different things what you can do with it. Right, so I'm just adding the last blue ones, and then I'm gonna go, and in the purple one we got like a lighter blue finish. I'm just gonna move this over to the other side, so out. So I'm gonna use the miracle beads from the purple kit now, and I'm gonna blend those in. And then after the purple, as I said, you could go into the pink. After the pink, you could go into the sunset colors, and you've got all of those seed beads. If you buy more than one, you got all of those seed beads to work with as well. So you could use a different color size 8. So I could have used the purple size 8 if I got both of these kits with the size 11s from the blue one. You could, all sorts of different options you will have then. Just adding the last one, and then I'm introducing the next miracle bead. I'm using thread, and he's asking, is it okay to use fire? I'm using super long thread. Of course you can use Fireline. There is so many different threads out there these days. It's what you're comfortable using with. But I'm used to super long, and I have been using super long for 15 years, very, very long time, and I am really happy with it. But other people prefer Fireline, or you know, they prefer, there's many different materials. It's really up to you which one you kind of used to. I like, there is different threads. They're gonna have different strength and weaknesses in a way, like not really strength and weaknesses, but they're gonna have create different textures. So with thread, when you do a stitching like this or any stitching, your beadwork is gonna be more fluid, more kind of like a fabric like. And if you use fire line, because fire knife is a little bit kind of harder material, not in the sense that, you know, it's more a little bit, your bracelets or necklaces is going to be a little bit more rigid. And of course, in some stitches or some techniques, we need softness, and some techniques it's nice to have more rigidity. So it's really depends on the project as well, but it's mainly, I guess, depends on what you kind of like to use. I'm just adding the second row of lighter blues in, and I'm going to add one more row, and then I'm going to go into the purple. But I think you kind of sort of get what you need to do. So I'm just going to sum it up. So when we started size 8 miracle, size 8 miracle, size 8 miracle, sewing it all together, and that become our base row. And that was like the very first step, but you kind of repeat the same steps all over again. So my next step is picking up 2 seed beads, size 11, 1 size 8, 2 size 11. And as I am coming out of this size 8 in between the 2 miracle beads, I'm going to jump over the miracle bead in front of me and just go into that size 8. Then I'm going to pick up another lot, exactly the same, 2 size 11, 1 size 8, 2 size 11. Jump to the next size 8, and finally one more time I'm going to do the same thing again. And when I'm doing the final, adding the final loop around my miracle bead, I'm going to step up as well, same time going into the very first loop. So I went through the size 8, 2 size 11, size 8, and now I'm ready. I'm at the point, we got like a little triangle here, I'm ready to pick up my miracle bead, jump to the other corner, another miracle bead, jump to the next corner, and another miracle bead, and jump to the very first bead we started out with. Now another thing what you will find, that because you're doing a spiral stitch, you will keep turning and turning your work around, and after a while your thread is gonna get twisted. So do kind of like remind yourself, so time to time, and I'm going to stop here, I'm going to change the camera to show so I can show you properly, time to time untangle your thread. So I'm going to hold up my thread, and I'm holding it right under the needle, so there is no sort of stress on the needle with one hand. With the other hand, with index finger and thumb, I'm just going to pull this down, and as I'm pulling this down, can you see that it's going to untangle and untwist? You can do that a couple of times, and that will really help you with your bead work. Right, I'm changing over the lighter purple from that lighter blue, so I'm changing over the next miracle bead. I love doing shading on bracelets and necklaces. Lucy's saying she likes Estlon thread the best. I like Estlon. So I'm adding 2 seed beads, size 11, 1 size 8, 2 size 11, and I'm going to introduce the next color. And again, so I'm going to go in and up in the very first loop, and I'm ready to introduce. So I've done 3 rows of each color. And I think this way, if I only do 3, it takes, I can't remember exactly. I did work this out as well. I think it takes about 15 colors to do a bracelet my size if I only use 3 colors. So if you want to use less colors, then you need to do more than 3 rows of a particular color. But I think you kind of sort of get it. Oh, would it be fun to change the seed bead with each color family? Yeah, you could do that as well. Or you could blend it in. So you could maybe just use, as you're moving over from one color to another, you could just use like, you know, one seed bead here and there, and then gradually of the next color, and gradually use more and more and more, and then just using next color. So you got like a section, and there is like, if I introduced the purple in here, I would just maybe have 1 size 11 here, 1 size 11 here, maybe a size 8 here, just a few, and then and then 2, and then sort of all of them purple, so you can blend them that way as well. There is so many different things you can do with colors when you have got multiple colors of seed beads and miracle beads, or any sort of beads. You can play with it and blend it. So the next, I'm adding one next to it. I'm just going to add a few more rows, and I'm going to show you how to add the end on how to do the clasp. So easy to add the clasp on this. So again, I'm gonna step up and then add the miracle beads in, and then adding, so I'm either adding seed beads or I'm adding miracle beads. Oh, Linda is saying she's still in Spain. Bless you. When are you back, Linda? Because we were talking about this with Brenda last week, that I thought you coming back of end of April, but Brenda said that you are coming back end of March. So I'm not quite sure. Or were you coming back end of March and then you're going straight away again? And more importantly, let us know, how's the weather in Spain? Although the weather is getting a little bit better here as well now. Spring is on the way. All the flowers coming up in the garden. Trees started to get sort of little buds and leaves. I really do love, and I love like the smell of spring as well. I think it's got this newness about it. Right, okay, so I'm adding the last of the lighter purple, then I'm going to add the darker purple, and with that I'm going to have 6 colors in here. I can always continue the other way, so I'm not going to go into the pinks, but I'm going to finish with the next purple. 1 2 3, that's right, which is like, that would be 2 kits worth of like not the whole kit, but miracle beads from 2 kits. So then I'm going into this darker purple. So I'm either adding seed beads or I'm adding the miracle beads. And I got probably about just under 3 inches of beading here already. It does grow quite quick. So I'm either adding the 2 size 11, 1 size 8, 2 size 11, or in the next row I'm adding the miracle beads themselves. And then coming up, always stepping up at the end, and I'm ready to add the miracle beads in. I love that blue with this purple. I love mixing blue with purple. I think it's such a lovely color to aquas. Blues and purples are my very, very favorite. But then you could imagine, I just ping the bead all across the room, you could imagine mixing, you know, greens and browns and golds. They would look amazing as well. But it's always nice to put, like, if I would do greens and browns, let's say, it's always nice to put like a hint of pink in it. That really just sort of brightens it up. I often put 2 colors next to each other, and what I'm looking for when I put them next to each other, do these 2 colors lift each other up so they make them more vibrant, or do these 2 colors make each other look more pale or more gray? And so when they lift each other up, they are really nicely complementing each other, and they have to be used together then. Well, not just together, but I think you know what I mean. They're really a good mixture to use them together. Right, last one for the purple, and then I'm going to show you how to add the clasp. So there's plenty of different ways you can add a clasp on this, and I'm adding a magnetic clasp, which I just need to grab from behind me. But you could add a toggle clasp. You could add any really clasp what you fancy you want to add on. So I'm letting the last row here, and once you finish the last row, so I'm just gonna go in and add the miracle beads. We're gonna have to finish with adding the seed bead row, because that's what we're gonna pull together and create a point. And I could add, and I could sew the clasp with the miracle beads and then bring the seed beads up to hide it, but you kind of end up with a very similar finish. So once I added the last row of miracle beads, so I got the length of my bracelet. Well, this is not even big enough for Roxy or for a baby. I'm gonna add the clasp on the end, and I can continue on the other side. Oh, sorry Rox, she was just behind me. She just had to jump as I put my chair back. So because this is a darker bracelet, but I'm going to be using quite light beads with it, I'm going to add a rhodium one on this one. I think that would go with everything. The rhodium color is just so good. There's so many different colors available in these clasps, so I always try to not just look at one bead, because if I look at the seed bead, which is a darker color, then I would perhaps want to use a darker clasp. If I look at a particular bead, then I might want to use a color just matching that particular bead. But I always try to look at the whole of the bracelet and what would kind of blend in the most. So I have added my last loop, so I'm finished with adding the seed beads here. I'm gonna come up into the corner as I normally would, and now instead of picking up a miracle bead, I'm gonna go through the loop on the clasp. Diane is saying with browns, I like to put orange. Yeah, the coral colors, they look really nice together as well. And Linda will be back at the end of April. That's about 6 weeks time, she says, and it's really hot there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna stitch backwards and forwards between the corners. So as I'm coming out of this corner, I'm just gonna come into the next corner. Now it doesn't matter which way you're stitching through, because what we're gonna create is we're gonna be stitching backwards and forwards. I came through that seed bead, I'm going back through the loop. Just pull this up nice and tight. And then don't forget you got 3 corners, not just 2, so I'm gonna stitch into this one to pull that together as well. And I'm going to stitch backwards and forwards quite a few times. So what I want to have is to have a connection with the loop. Sorry, I'm a little bit out. Have a connection with the loop with each side of the seed bead. So in this case, this one has got a thread going on this side, got a thread going on that side. Now if I look at the next seed bead, can you see it's only have a connection on one side of that seed bead. So I want to come in from the other side as well and pull it to the loop, and I'm gonna go backwards and forwards, probably more than I need, but I really like, and can you see how the loop is kind of pulled in between the size 8s there? But I really like to have a very strong connection, especially where the clasp is, because that's where you tug the most on your bracelets or necklaces, where you're taking them off and putting them on. So I will go through maybe 10-15 times and just keep going through the different size 8s at the top, backwards and forwards, just adding that clasp. And as you're pulling it tighter and tighter, that clasp, that loop is kind of just sort of will sit in between the size 8, so it will hide it quite nicely as well. Hello Rebecca, nice to see you here. Good morning. Simisula, I hope I said your name right. Can I finish the same way using size 11 Toho? So if your middle bead, which we use the size 8 here, is size 11, the size 11 seed beads are going to have a smaller hole. So you can't go through them so many times. You could always just add a size 8 bead on the top of the size 11 bead. Well, not on the top, but like instead of a size 11, add a size 8 at the very end for that very last loop. And then if you want to, and this is actually not in the instructions, you can kind of like sew this together. I'm just gonna pick up, as I'm coming out of one size 8, can you see there? I'm just gonna pick up a size 11 and go into the next size 8. So I kind of like that I can blend this all three together, or pull them even closer, so it will make the clasp sit in even more. This is not in the PDF instruction, so, but there's so many ways you can add a clasp. So there we go. So because I added that one size 11, it just kind of pulled it together. And now I'm going to run around this size 11, size 8, size 11. I just added a couple of times to really pulling this together, so it hides the loops on the loop on my clasp. And I would do the same on the other side. And once you've been through a few times, you would just weave your thread back down into your netting, do a couple of half hitch knots, and then you're ready. Take it to a few more beads, and then you're ready to take off. So any thread path you had before, you can just follow back down into your beadwork, into your bracelet or necklace. Now half hitch knot, and I'm going to show you how to do this right here, or one thread knot, is we're going to go and grab the threads in between the beads. So I don't want to go through any beads at all. I'm just grabbing the thread, sort of stitching into the thread. If I'm going stitching in the middle of the thread, it doesn't matter. I just want to catch some thread with my needle. I'm going to pull my needle through, and you can see this little loop forming. Before this loop would disappear, I'm going to take my needle through that, and now when I pull this up, it's going to form a knot on the top of that thread, and then I can take it down, and I would repeat it a couple of times just to be extra secure. Again, it doesn't matter. Make sure your thread doesn't get caught, because if you knot it off and then it gets caught, and then you can't undo it anymore. Come on, come back a bit so we can take the looping out. I'm just going to use a bit of tweezer to pull it back so I can loop it above the clasp, just sort of looped around it. There we go. We want it nice and straight. And I'm gonna just go through a few more, and then I'm gonna repeat the knot. Again through the loop. Make sure I'm pulling this nice and tight. Then through a few beads. I can even come back towards the clasp if I want to. Doesn't really matter. And then finally, I'm just gonna cut that thread off, and one side of my bracelet is ready. And you can go on adding so many different colors if you want to. David said, I agree with the strong connection. That's for the class. The more you go through it, the stronger it's gonna get. I love it too, Sheila. Sheila says, I love the combination of all the colored miracle beads. I love it too. Like I could go on and do sort of all rainbow finishes. Don't forget, this is 2 kits worth of miracle beads on there. So this is from the blue and this is from the purple. This is the purple kit. So I could have because 2 for 25, so the offer is 2 for 25. So if you're gonna buy one, you might as well go for 2 kits. You could use the blues in the purple as well, and you can use the purples in the blue, so you could kind of like mix and match it and create beautiful sort of colorways in there as well. Right, okay, so 2 for 25 today on the kits. I'm not sure, I was just sort of thinking, because Simon did say to me how long the offer is going to be on, but it's usually sort of a few days afterwards. So do grab it until you can. I'm going to zoom out and just sort of show you a bit of a close up. So this is the purple, this is the blue when it's not blended with the purple that we did. This is the pink. Then we have the black diamond. We also have got, this is earth. We have got sunset. zoom out a tiny bit more. We got sunset, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and finally we got spring. I do love this springy color, the teal with the gold and the green. That's a beautiful color. They look quite nice together as well. Just kind of want to put it down and look at them. And Lucy popped the link in Facebook as well. Lucy, thank you, Charlotte, saying great colors. What is the diameter of the bracelet? So it is about, I would say about 9 or 10 millimeter. Not too thick. It's quite a nice size on the wrist as well. But you could use it as a necklace as well. You can keep it going, and one kit will make your necklace about 48 centimeters, which is about 17 inch long. So it's quite generous as well if you want to keep on beading and you don't want the bracelet and keep on going and make a necklace. Right, okay, so that's it for me. I'll be on tonight. I'm not sure what we are playing with tonight. I have been looking at some of the I think I go in and out of things. So at the moment I'm quite like two-hole bead minded. I'm multi-hole bead minded. So we were working with the ginkgo beads, we were working with super duos, we've been working with gem duos. I don't know, maybe we work with the bricks again, or the tiles, we see, but I'm really I'm playing with those a lot at the moment. So we were doing that tonight on Kitty Robinson Designs, so join there if you're around from 7 p.m. UK time, just sort of a little bit of informal beading and a bit of a chat. Otherwise, I am actually heading into the Bead Club, and if you don't know what the Bead Club is, do check it out, beadclub.co.uk. We're making this super duo bracelet today in the Bead Club from 12, which is repeated tomorrow at 7. I'm doing that. Other than that, have a beautiful weekend. Hopefully we have really good weather, and I can take this one out for a few walks, because last week it was horrendous. Like all week we couldn't really get out, and on Saturday and Sunday we done 8k each day. It was so good. So I'm hoping the weather is going to be nice this week. Everybody have a beautiful week, and I'll see you very, very soon.